Good evening, folks. And the new top 25 is out. And there are certain numbers that are missing. So, before we jump on that, these are the numbers that are missing. Number 12 is missing. Number 19 and 20 are also missing. So, that obviously means a lot. So, here's how it goes. Number 1 is Texas. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Penn State. Number 5, Georgia, sorry. Number 6, Miami. Number 7, Alabama. Number 8, Tennessee. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 10, Clemson. Number 11, Iowa State and Notre Dame. Number 13, LSU. Number 14, BYU. Number 15, Texas A&M. Number 16, Utah. Number 17, Boise State. Number 18, Kansas State. And Indiana. And Oklahoma. Number 21, Missouri. Number 22, Pittsburgh. Number 23, Illinois. Number 24, Michigan. Number 25, SMU. Now, you gotta think to yourself, how do these guys really play out and play to their victories? Well, with last week being Upsetville, because this is a brand new week, Michigan lost badly to Washington, unranked Washington, 27-17. They were ahead 17-14 at one point. They kicked a field goal. Washington kicked a field goal, tied it at 17. Then they scored a touchdown, making it 24-17. Then they kicked a field goal. They scored both their times off turnovers. So, that's one failure that will really hurt them. Now, they got to take on Illinois on the 19th. So, that there is also going to be a hard one for Michigan to overcome, is dealing with another ranked team, because Illinois will take on Purdue after this, so they got a whole week to rest up and get ready for to prepare for Illinois, and at Illinois nevertheless, so that's even tougher place to even play at. So obviously, I don't know how Altmaier will perform against Michigan. I don't know if he'll beat Michigan or if he's gonna have this pass game going, but he's a heck of a good passer. Pittsburgh, I'm not really bought by Pittsburgh, but here are the team's opponents. Texas will take on Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. That's going to be a good game. Then you have, after Ohio State's 35-7 win, they take on Oregon, who just presumptuously defeated Michigan State 31-10, but they struggled. 2 turnovers Michigan State pulled off on Oregon. Now, what happened there? Oregon, the defense stepped up for Oregon, but only one issue here with Oregon. If Michigan State capitalized on those turnovers, despite the score being 31-10, would you add 2 touchdowns on here? The final score technically would have been 31-24. I say again, 31-24. You add those 2 touchdowns on there, 31-24 in favor of Oregon. It's only a 7-point difference. Michigan State had plenty of opportunity to take the lead, and they failed to. Even the end zone there, if he would have not turned the ball over, crossing the goal plane before they fumbled it, then add that on there. 31, we're going to overtime. Or, say that didn't happen, that's 31-17. We'll just put that there. But every play they had lots of opportunities. Now, Penn State, they take on USC. They just got done beating out UCLA 27-11. Decent game there. Penn State's pretty much, on their way to looking like the monsters again, unless USC comes up with some kind of rhythm that will change everything. Now, Auburn, on the other hand, played with some kind of passion for the longest time with Georgia, And Georgia somehow managed to pull away there at the very end, winning 31-13. Literally nobody's safe at this point in the game. Nobody. They take on Mississippi State. I can't say Mississippi State's the best team in the SEC at this point. By all means. Then you have California. Then you have Miami, who barely beat California in the very last 25 seconds. A touchdown by California was ahead. 38. California was ahead literally by 15 points at one point. Miami came back and beat California. That was almost another upset in the making. By just a very tiny little bit. But somehow, California didn't hold on. And they lost 39-38 to 6th ranked Miami. They got Louisville on the 19th. So that's going to be entertaining. Then we got the biggest one of them all. Alabama. They got upset by Vanderbilt. And I say again, Vanderbilt! How do you lose to Vanderbilt? I have yet to hear anybody say that they ever lost to Vanderbilt. A number one ranked team has never... Vanderbilt, 0-60 against a top 5, a number one ranked team of all time. This is the first time ever being a number one ranked team. I can't believe that ever even happened. Alabama will take on South Carolina. Alabama was just inconsistent throughout the entire time. And I literally say again, the entire time. Now, Tennessee, they had their chances to win the game. Driving at the very end, but failed to capitalize. They fall 19-14. They take on Florida, who's pretty much been struggling throughout the entire time, but somehow find ways to win when it's really not mattering, but somehow it happens. Then Ole Miss and LSU. Ole Miss wins. LSU, not so much. I mean, we'll just have to see who plays the better game. Now, Clemson, I guess I'm wrong about this. Clemson is improved. I did not see this coming. Clemson beat Florida State 29-13, the most overrated team there ever was, Florida State. They beat them 29-13. Wake Forest is their next opponent. Then we jump over to one of the 2-11 seeds. Iowa State, who just got done trouncing on Baylor 43-21. They take on West Virginia next. Then Notre Dame, who just got past Louisville 31-24, will take on Stanford next. Then LSU had a bye, will take on Ole Miss. BYU, who's 14th, will take on Arizona. And then we talk about one of the other upsets. Texas A&M beats the... Oh, this is like one that's going to be talked about for a long time. Texas A&M slaughters and takes a bite out of the Tigers of Missouri. 41-10. How do you live with yourself if you are Missouri? Texas A&M, who's 25th, and you come to their house all hyped up. Missouri, looking ahead to UMass, thinking, not even looking at them, thinking, okay, this is a piece of cake. We're just going to walk past because they're just that low ranked. No. Never look past anybody that low rank. You got to focus on one game at a time. And they beat them. It was a behind winning. That was a big time victory. And I say hats off. Then Utah had a bye, and they will play Arizona State. And Boise State, who beat out Utah State 62-30, will take on Hawaii. Then all the 18 seeds you got. Kansas State taking on Colorado. And then Indiana, who's the big surprise of everybody. They had some struggles with Northwestern, only winning 41-24. They take on Nebraska on the 19th, so they got a week to rest up for Nebraska. So that'll be an interesting game there. Not sure if they'll beat Nebraska or not, so that'll be one game to watch. Then you got Texas. And then you have Texas to watch for. And then Oklahoma takes on Texas. Like I said before, we'll skip over that. And then Texas A&M. Then we're back to Missouri, Texas. Missouri, who takes on UMass. It's just one of those games where you're like, how do you live with yourself? This is like, it shouldn't have even happened. And then Pittsburgh just got done beating North Carolina 34-24. And then you have Illinois, who's moved up, who's on break, will take on Purdue. Pittsburgh takes on California. And then Michigan will have a break to prepare for Illinois. SMU will take on Stanford on the 19th. So, these teams right here tells you a lot. I mean, this really says it all about all these teams. Then USC got upset by, then just like I was saying before, USC got upset by a very good team from Minnesota, who was 2-3 at the time. They got upset by Minnesota by a score of 24-17 in the very last few seconds. They were driving, USC was, and they threw a ball into the end zone. It was intercepted, and he just landed in the end zone. And then the quarterback obviously took a knee. End of game. Game over. But that just tells you how they ended the game. Now, when you look at how all these games are played, Oregon, Ohio State, that's going to be a good matchup. Penn State, USC, another decent matchup. I mean, obviously USC is going to have a chip on their shoulder, and it's at USC, so obviously it's going to be a really good game there. And then you have other games like Alabama's going to have a chip on their shoulder when they take on South Carolina, so you know that. And then the same with Tennessee and Florida. They're going to take their anger out on those games, so you know where that's going. Now, Missouri taking on UMass. Missouri shouldn't have any issues with UMass. Now, I shouldn't really say Vanderbilt was weak at all. I mean, Vanderbilt, last week they literally gave Missouri a run for their money. And I should have been a little more specific. We're talking about only number one teams only, not ranked teams. So I take all that back about earlier, about when I was saying about number one when they beat number one Alabama. Now, when I say that, Missouri, who was unranked, who was ranked, I think they were 10th at the time. I can't remember what their rank was, but they went into like double overtime. Missouri kicks a field goal, wins it 30-27. They tried a field goal, no good. Missouri wins. Vanderbilt had their chances to beat them. Vanderbilt seems like a brand new team. They're a team you need to watch out for. Look out for these guys. If you're Georgia, you better be taking notes, because I can tell you right now, Vanderbilt is not going to play games with you. I mean, Auburn. 31-13 over Auburn. I mean, that might not look like a close game, but in reality, like they'll say, there might be no moral victories, but damn it, this definitely looked like a moral victory because they kept it close from start to finish until the very end. Then they just ran out of gas. But Oregon and Ohio State, I feel like it's going to be one of those Washington and Michigan games. It's going to be a low-scoring game from the start. And it's going to be like, whoever turns the ball over the least amount of times will be your winner. Literally. Whoever doesn't turn the ball over the most will win the game. That's literally going to be the key. Now, if Ohio State can capitalize, unlike Michigan State, if they capitalize on those turnovers, great. Because Michigan State did not capitalize on those turnovers. Same with Indiana. Indiana's even lucky to be ranked, because when Maryland played Indiana, when Maryland lost 42-28. Indiana turned the ball over 4 times. 4 interceptions that game. If you score every single one of those interceptions, the final score would have been, if that was touchdowns, every single one of those interceptions with the good extra point, 49-42 is your final score. Maryland wins. Indiana loses. And guess where? Indiana would have their first loss on their schedule. Now, the question is, do they have what it takes to even be this far? I don't know. That's a very good question you need to ask the Indiana fans. Because I don't even know if they even have what it takes to get that far. And then Rutgers pulls it off with... Then, not Rutgers, but... And then you have Nebraska beating Rutgers 14-7. That was a really good game. But at this point, I'm not looking past anybody because Nebraska literally has it all in their pockets. They just need to play some smart football if they want to win any games. They got Ohio State. Ohio State will have a bye week, and then they got Nebraska next. So I think there's going to be a lot of good football games coming up here pretty soon. And now I got some more stats I got to take care of. If you like this video, hit the like button. Hit the bell for notifications. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.